You walked into the Met Gala carrying a $3.3 million watch on your wrist, and the crowd barely blinked. That is the world we are living in now, where a single timepiece costs more than a Manhattan apartment, and nobody asks how much it weighs in diamonds. But here is what the fashion press will never tell you. The difference between the watches that dominated that red carpet and the ones that quietly disappeared from every photo gallery is not price. It is legacy, engineering, and the kind of mechanical credibility that takes generations to build. Most watch buyers in 2026 are still paying for the logo, not the movement. Tonight, we are going through 10 watches from Met Gala 2026, 5 that absolutely dominated, and 5 nobody expected to see, so you understand exactly what separates a timepiece from a trophy. Starting with the first watch that dominated this year, and it was impossible to miss. Dwayne Johnson walked into his first ever Met Gala wearing a Jacob & Cambert Billionaire III, valued at $3.3 million, set with 714 emerald-cut white diamonds, totaling 129.61 carats, making it a one-of-one commission. The manufacturing cost of a piece like this sits entirely in stone sourcing and hand-setting labor, with each diamond placed individually by artisans in Jacob & Co.'s New York atelier. The movement inside is a proprietary JCAM 37 manual wind, calibre, but make no mistake. The markup on haute joaillerie of this scale is driven by scarcity engineering, not complications. When you are wearing $3.3 million on your wrist, the watch is no longer a watch. It is a financial statement wrapped in platinum. You are paying for the logo multiplied by the stones, and it worked. Every camera in the room found that wrist. The second dominant watch of the night came from Jay-Z, who wore the Patek Philippe Grandmaster chime, and this one is different. This is not jewelry. This is the most technically complex wristwatch Patek Philippe has ever produced, containing over 1,500 individual components and 20 distinct complications, including a grand sonnerie, a petite sonnerie, and a minute repeater, all housed in a dual-faced case. The manufacturing cost of a Grandmaster chime reflects roughly 100,000 hours of cumulative movement development over multiple decades, and the retail price of $2.2 million is, for once, not a pure markup play. This is built to last across centuries. Patek Philippe's Geneva-based manufacture operates under the Stern family with zero external group pressure, meaning these complications are never rushed. Jay-Z wearing this at the Met was not a flex. It was a curriculum. The third watch that dominated came from Rami Malek, and his choice was the most conceptually perfect of the entire night. He arrived wearing a vintage platinum Cartier Crash from 1992, and the alignment with the fashion is art theme was not accidental. The Crash was originally designed in 1967 by Cartier London after a car accident warped a baignoire case into an asymmetrical sculpture. Cartier's London atelier produced these in extremely limited numbers, and a 1992 platinum example today carries a secondary market value of approximately $80,000 to $120,000, with the manufacturing cost at original production being a fraction of that. But this is one of the rare cases where the label does not lie. The Crash earns its price through genuine design history and material execution. Rami Malek understood the assignment better than anyone dressed by a stylist that night. The fourth dominant watch belonged to Anderson .Paak, who wore an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Jumbo Extra Thin Open, worked in white gold and bracelet with a contrasting gray open-worked dial. The Royal Oak was designed by Gerard Genta in 1972 and introduced the concept of the luxury sports watch, an entire category that now generates billions annually. The Jumbo's case sits at 39 millimeters and just 8.1 milliliter thick, which requires extraordinary machining precision from AP's Le Brassus manufacture in the Vallée de Joux, Switzerland. Audemars Piguet remains independent and family-held, with no LVMH or Richemont. Group ownership, meaning every production decision is governed by craft rather than quarterly targets. The openwork movement visible through the dial required hand beveling of each bridge. This is cost per wear at its most legitimate. Every day you wear this, it earns its price. The fifth watch that dominated was Bulgari's Serpenti Spiga worn by Lisa, the K-pop sensation with 107 million Instagram followers, and this one operated on a completely different level. The Serpenti Spiga is a high jewelry watch, not a conventional timepiece. Its double spiral design wraps around the wrist, using a movement hidden within a diamond-encrusted bracelet construction that Bulgari's Rome-based high jewelry department builds entirely by hand. The retail price begins at approximately $200,000 for diamond set variants, and the manufacturing cost reflects platinum metal forming, stone selection, and the sapphire crystal integration within the coil structure. For Bulgari, owned by LVMH since 2011, the Serpenti is both brand anchor and cultural weapon. Lisa wearing 4 sculptural arms at the Met and placing the Serpenti on the most prominent wrist was a brand placement worth more than 100 conventional advertisements. Every watch on this list, from the $3.3 million Jacob and Cobers to the Museum Archive Omega, earned its presence because the construction cost was real. When you understand manufacturing cost and what a genuine markup looks like versus what legitimate labor and engineering justify, you stop buying watches and start investing in them.